everyone, Road Racing DP here with the next in the series of wheel settings for project cars. I'm on a PS4 on a Thrustmaster T300, but these settings, as far as I know, will work on pretty much every wheel, PS4, Xbox and PC. What I've done is I've taken Jack Spade's information that he's collated and applied it to all of the cars, and I'm doing it in short video series. The road cars, the touring cars, the GT cars, so I'm separating it up into the classes, and then I'm going to show you the settings actually applied to the car. But first of all, before you actually apply those settings, I would definitely advise hitting the options button, going into options, and going into controls. Make sure you calibrate your wheel, your pedals and your force feedback, and that's where we're going to go. R2 into force feedback. Now I would suggest putting your tyre force at 100, it is what they suggest, and force feedback at 100. But I think your force feedback is on each of the cars, it's in a different menu, but I'm more focusing on the wheel settings rather than the base setting here. If you do find your wheel is too heavy, turn down the tyre force to a lesser amount. It does make quite a difference. But if you do want to screenshot this particular page, you can do. These are the recommended settings that I have got from the wheel settings documents, basically. So now I'm going to go into the touring car class and show you all of the settings applied to the cars. Like I say, I'm going to do this in a series of videos. I'm probably not going to do the go-karts because I haven't driven the go-karts at all yet, so I may not do those ones, we'll have to see. But all of the others I will, and it does make a difference doing the force feedback and the tyre force settings in conjunction with these settings. If you only do tyre force and force feedback, your wheel will be very, very heavy. But once you've done these particular settings I'm about to show you, it does make your wheel much more lighter, or a little bit lighter, and much more feel through it. Okay, so if we go into the BMW, and I am going to go through this quite quick, so get ready to hit pause and take a screenshot. So into the BMW M3, what you need to do is go into, you'd probably have to create new setup really if you've not done this already. I'm going to go into edit current because I've already put them on. So you would go into create new, hit R1 to go over to force feedback, and then these are the settings that are suggested. Jack Spade's done 4 different options of settings really. You've got FY and SOP lateral settings, classic settings, 66% SOP lateral, SOP is seat of the pants, and bumps plus. Now the bumps plus I'm not a big fan of because basically it just makes it really, really bumpy. So I've gone with a 66% SOP lateral, and these are the settings applied to the car. So feel free to take a screenshot of this particular screen, apply those settings, then press R2 and apply these settings here. For most of the cars, or pretty much all of them, these top 4 don't really need changing. It's mainly these 3 here that you change. But there you go, take your screenshot of those ones. Once you've applied it to the car, save it, and save it to every single circuit, and then you will need to go to each of the tracks individually to work on the car's actual mechanical setup, because doing this, it's not going to make your car automatically go faster, it's just going to give you much better feel through the wheel. You're still going to have to work on setups of the car itself. Okay, so for the Ford Escort Mark 1, here's your settings, so get ready to screenshot it. So like I say, I am going to go through these fairly quick. Body and SOP, there's your settings there, so get taking some pictures. Like I say, I am going to go through all of the classes in separate videos. It just makes it a lot quicker for viewers to go through it. It takes me a long time. It took me about an hour just to put all the settings on the road cars. but obviously I've been able to show on the YouTube video all of the settings applied to the cars in less than 15 minutes. And these cars, it's going to be very, very quick to show you. Okay, so the Ford Sierra Cosworth, a fantastic beast of a car. So here's your settings, get ready to apply those. Now for the master scale setting, the master scale always matches your SOP scale. Now I am doing this on PS4, so if you are actually looking at the Jack Spade document and mine together, you may see that there is some anomalies between my master scale and his, and perhaps my FY scale and his, but that's because excuse me, for example, the master scale for this car may be 41, but on the PS4 you can't get 41, so I've always gone that one higher, that one little more extra powerful. So if you are comparing both, there is a few bits that won't be similar because of that effect. Okay, on to the next car. So into the Mercedes, and the Mercedes-Benz 190e, a car I have always been a fan of. And here are your settings for this particular car. Now you may think that most of the settings are very, very similar to each other. Well, to be honest, a lot of them are, but then you do have the odd few where they are very, very different. Okay, so there's the settings for the 190e. So on to the next car. Was there another Mercedes in there? This old boy, yes. Now admittedly I don't have the limited edition game, so if you've got cars that I'm not showing you, I can't help you with those, I'm afraid, because I haven't got those cars. And because I'm recording this on the PS4, I can't at the moment like take a screenshot and add the settings in, and if I just sat here talking about it, you'd get extremely bored. Okay, so the Mercedes 300 SEL, here are the settings for this particular car, and there you go. And then we move on to the Renault Clio Cup. Interesting little car to drive, really. You can really throw this one about. So into force feedback again, and here are the settings for the Renault Clio. Actually, I've just spotted, let me just check that. Renault Clio, I've missed a couple of settings off there. Renault Clio, quite handy this. FY smoothing, we want at 90. That'd be why it was so quick going through them all. And 140. Hang on, no, that's the... No, my bad, I had got it wrong. Do not change those ones. Leave those at 0. Okay, body and SOP. So there's the settings for those ones. Nearly ballsed up, but there we go. So yeah, when you've applied those settings, like I say, hit save it to all of the circuits. If that does mean that you have already got a setup on your car, well, it's a tricky one. You could either just totally override it, or perhaps just save these setups to one particular track, and that way you keep your other cars set up, and then you can go and see what it is, and then go to the track with this setup on, put the mechanical grip setup on it, and then save it to all. That is something that I actually have done, or even when I wanted to do a before and after test, I put the setups on, saved it to one track, went and drove a different one with stock settings, then loaded the other track settings onto the car, went back to the same track, and the car was much better. It was about 1.1 seconds faster in so I think which car it was the rough RGT8. So yeah, these settings can make a massive difference. So anyway, there we go, there's the touring car class for the wheel settings. So if you find that these have helped you out and you want to get the information for the other classes of cars, just have a look on the YouTube channel, because I will be covering them all except for probably the go-karts, but I'm sure I can be convinced into doing that one. So there we go, I've been Front Row Racing DP. I hope this has helped, and thanks for